Sophie, are you talking? We cannot hear you.
No. Yeah, I'm just adding one more machine, my personal machine.
Okay.
So you can start, okay? So today we will go through the Bastion or gem server setup, okay? And what is gem server and how we will configure the gem server in a real build scenario. So anyone heard about gem server for the new joiners? My screen is visible, right? Paint.
Yes.
Yes.
So anyone heard about? This is comes under the topics networking, okay? Anyone heard about? Or Bastion host? Two names are there, okay? One is gem server or we can call it as Bastion. Bastion host.
No idea.
No idea, right?
No idea.
Okay. Actually, this is a gem server, okay? We use to jump one network to another network. For example, coming to VPC, okay? Consider we have a VPC and VPC have one network that is public network. So this is our subnet, okay? We call a subnet as the network, okay? Subnet. And this subnet is a public subnet. And some machines are inside the subnet, okay? This is a VM or EC2 machines. Okay. So we have a subnet. That subnet is purely public. So we make that subnet public after configuring the subnet, okay? So this subnet belongs to one virtual network or VPC. And we have another subnet here. That subnet is purely private. So this is a private subnet and this is public subnet. And here we have some machines also, virtual machines. So in this case, this is one network and this is another network, okay? So the requirement is someone outside the network, okay? Or someone who have internet connection. So that person need to access our private instances. For example, this machine, this EC2 machine. So in that scenario, actually we configuring gem server. Got it? So you need to configure the gem server to access the private machine or the one who can jump to private network as well. For that, we need to configure a EC2 machine or we need to set up a gem server within the public subnet first. And this machine is available, right? This is public machine. So we need to provide this machine credentials to the user. This is a user. So we called as this is gem server or Bastion host. And the user can directly access to this gem server from gem server to, so first the access comes to the gem server, okay? Then from gem to next network, that means our private network, they can log in. So this is called similar like a jumping method, okay, from one machine to another machine or from one network to another network. Got it, all of you?
This jump server is also a EC2 or a VM machine?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is one case, okay, where we using gem server. Coming to real world scenario, okay. For example, in which use case or which scenario we will you configuring the gem server, okay. For example, there's a company ABC, and this ABC company have a lot of clients, right? For example, this is a company, and this company have a lot of client from across the globe. For example, some clients from US, someone from UK, like that. And this is purely in India. And some employees are there. Okay, here we have five
Yeah,
employees
but it's
consider like.
free information, so free.
So we have five employees here. Okay, and the ABC company taking that client project and assign to these peoples, right? So these peoples actually needs to access this client's network. Actually, got it. So in this case, we have in a network and we have the laptop or the desktop. Okay. Our requirement is we need to work the client location, right? Virtually. So the client offer the Bastion to us. They will create a user for us and provide the credentials. And we first log into the machine they provided. Okay. That is the Bastion actually, or the gem server. From this machine to the client, other private net machines or network we can access. So that's a use case, real world use case where we using jump. Got it, all of you. Okay.
We can use
One
VPN,
question.
right?
Yeah, go ahead, Purnima.
Yeah.
We can make
Yeah.
use of VPN, right? Why jump
Mm,
server?
no. VPN is not used for this scenario because uh, that is creating a separate tunneling, right? VPN is creating a tunneling.
You need to put VPN instead of VPC.
VPN.
Yeah, sorry, mistake. VPN create a tunneling between two networks. VPN. This is creating a tunneling, but here actually we need to expose the public machine. Here, for example, this is a cloud PC. Okay, we can call it as a cloud PC or the Bastion machine. And this is purely public actually, this machine, where first we accessing one machine, right? That is the gem server. So that machine we need to make public.
Can you highlight which one you said is a public machine? Because there's like a next to ABC, there's like a little laptop on the left and on the right.
This one.
Bastion.
Yeah.
And what is the machine that's on the left top? Which says
This
India.
one, right?
Yeah, what is that one?
This is the laptop that we're using. For example, here five employees there. So they will offer five laptops to each one, right? So this
Oh,
laptops belongs to this our company network. Okay.
okay.
This machine purely in our network,
Oh, it should
ABC
have been inside that ABC square.
Right.
Okay, I see. Thank you.
So requirement is we need to log into some machines belongs to US region. Okay, US that is purely private actually. Some private missions. That's our final target. Okay, where we are going to log in and work. For entering a private network, they will offer the client offer the Bastion mission. So coming to our day-to-day routine, okay, what are things that we do? Like first log in our laptop, this one. Then we need to connect with the Bastion server or Bastion machine. From Bastion, we can access these machines. Like Linux, if we need to Linux machine, then we can try to SSH from the terminal or whatever we're using. Okay. For Windows machine, we need to use RDP. Just to provide the public IP, okay. Sorry, private IP of these machines from Bastion. Because this Bastion also within the private network. So this Bastion can talk to the private machines as well within the company. Got it?
The question thought, as the private network doesn't have a public IP, how does the Bastion server can communicate with the private
That
VMs
is,
or
yeah, that's the lab we will do today, okay.
okay.
So we need to create a internal connection routing here. So we can jump into the lab, right? We can set up a Bastion and try to access.
Okay.
For that, we need to log into the AWS. My screen is visible, right?
Just
Have you changed
yeah,
it? Or-
now. Yeah, now.
Okay.
Now it's visible.
So in this lab, what are things that we are going to do? We have a VPC or a virtual private network. And inside the VPC, we have two network. I mean, two subnet, okay? One is public and one is private. And we will deploy two machines in, sorry, one machine in public and one machine in private. Our requirement is we need to create a Bastion and try to access through the Bastion to the private machine. Got it. The private machine means that machine doesn't have any public IP or the subnet is purely private. There is no routing also. So for that, I will check the existing VPC. So this is a VPC, right? Yesterday or day before, I mean, previous week we created a VPC. So here we can see only one subnet here, right? For this VPC, only one subnet. And that subnet is connected to internet gateway as well. See, there is a root table associated with the subnet, and that's a root table is associated with, root table. We can see a new root added that is connecting to our internal gateway. That means this subnet is purely public. The name is public subnet GS. Same way, I'm going to create a subnet within the same VPC. So click on subnet and create subnet. Select the VPC. This is the one. And I'm providing the name, okay? Private subnet. Yes. And available zone, I will select one of the existing available zone. Then coming to the IP CADR, I will provide another network IP, okay? For the first subnet that belongs to this same network, have 10 dot series, right? 10.0.0. So this will be 10.0.1.0. And the net mask is 24. So we can hold 256 something IP for this subnet.
You have one number too many in the.
Extra
You
10.0.
would have to get rid of the second zero.
Second
10.0.1.0.
Yep. Okay. Now create subnet. So whenever you create subnet, what are the next components that we need to configure? Anyone can?
route table.
Right. So we need to configure a route table. I mean, create a route table, and we need to associate that route table, okay, to the subnet that we created. Private root table GS. So yeah, this is fine. So we can identify the root table, okay, belongs to private or public, or that is belongs to which subnet, like that. And we need to select the VPC also. So this root table belongs to the VPC GS. So that's why we didn't do any, creating any tag for this. And now we created the root table, right? So after creating root table, we need to associate that root table with the corresponding subnet. So go to the subnet association and edit subnets association. And here we can see what are the subnets that belongs to the same VPC. So in our case, we need to associate with the private subnet, okay? So save association. That's fine. So the VPC configuration is done. Creating subnet and associated. Also, you can see the root for this root table. There is only one root that is a default root. That is for internal communication only. Okay, from the VPC IP to, the destination is VPC address. This is our VPC IP address. Okay, and the target is local. Now it's fine. Now we can quickly go to launch missions. So we need to create one mission in public and one in private. So launch mission. I will provide the name Bastion, okay, or gem server. Amazon Linux is fine, okay, my operating system. Then instance type T2 micro is fine because we are just checking that connectivity between two machines. Then key pair, I will go with existing key pair. Then coming to network, we need to define the corresponding network, okay. So I will selecting the corresponding VPC. Then the subnet, okay. This is my Bastion mission, okay. For whenever we creating Bastion, we need to define corresponding, selecting the public subnet, okay. In this case, I am selecting my public subnet and enabling the auto assign public IP. That's fine. Okay, now I am launch instance. So the Bastion is successfully launched. Now go back and create another mission. So that mission will be our private network, okay. So launch instance. Most probably, we keeping some database servers or some credential servers in private subnet, okay, in real world scenario. So this is considered like a one database, okay, database server. And same configuration, I'm going with the same like T2 micro. And for the key pair, I will choose one of the key pair. I will create one key pair for this mission, okay. I didn't choose existing one. BB. So this is a way we creating new key pair just to provide the name and type, which encryption type for this one. So by default, it's RSA and the type, the format type, okay. So this is PEM. Or else we can select .ppk as well. So we can directly using in putty. Otherwise we can convert the PEM to putty, okay, using putty gen actually, putty gen. So this is fine. This is actually the private key, okay, private key that we are going to create for this mission. And after that, there is a public key within the machine actually. Inside server, there is a public key as well. So this private key should be matching with the public key whenever we're trying to remote login. Otherwise, we can't access the remote server. So create, when we click create, see it will download my local machine. Okay. So I can find that key in my downloads. Now I am selecting the network. Same. And here you can see I'm not going with the public one, okay, for the database. So this machines purely we need to keep in a private network. So I'm selecting private subnet. And this you can see the auto assign public IP. We don't need a public IP for this machine because since the machine is private, right? So we need to select as disabled. So that's fine. Rest of thing seems good. We can launch the machine. So anyone have any doubt?
Can we jumpstart by using it? Can we connect into different VPCs rather than in the same VPC?
Yes, that's good question. We can connect different VPC as well. Even different VPC belongs to different account
Different
or same.
regions? Okay.
Yeah, even. So we have a section on the VPC peering. So in that case, I will show you how to connect one machines that belongs to one VPC and connect to the another VPC's machine or any services.
Okay.
So here you can see this is our gem server and we can check the gem server details. See that gem server have a private IP and a public IP. This using the public IP, we are going to access this machine, okay, remotely, or else we need to log into this AWS account and here from here we can directly connect this machine. Just selecting the machine and click connect. Fail to security queue. Okay. Okay, we can directly connecting the Quick Connect option in AWS console. So for that, we need to log into the AWS console, okay, using appropriate credentials. Or else we can access this machine using any SSS client software like Putty or Mumbex team. For that, we need to provide the machine public IP, machine username, and the PIM key. For these three things, we can authenticate the remote server from our local machine. So this is a quick connect option. So here you can see I'm successfully logging to my private machine. That is our gem server. Okay. So the next, we are going to check the database machine. Okay. See, when selecting the database machine, that machine have a private IP, but there is no public IP. Without public IP, how can we log into a machine? So, and I'm going to the connect option. So we can't connect. See, that is not enabled here. Connect. And here also you can see no public IP or IPv6 address assigned. Also, instance is not in a public subnet. So we need to sort out these two errors, okay, to connect that machine. Otherwise, we can say the machines belongs to a private network. But our requirement is we need to access that machine. Got it? So that we need to create a gem server. Okay. So before that, I will show you how a access happen, okay, from one machine to another machine remotely. For example, this is our machine. Okay, this machine belongs to this is a AWS machine. Okay, AWS EC2, a private machine. Sorry, a public machine. Somewhere in US region. Okay, consider like that's US. And I am from India. Okay, so I need to take a remote connection to this machine, this EC2. So what are the prerequisites? One is we need a client, SSH client software installed in the machine, right? For example, Putty or Mobex team, or else we can using command prompt, okay, the machine command prompt or PowerShell as well. So in that case, we didn't install anything like the client softwares, okay. We can leverage this native tools also. So from the any of the tool, okay, we need to connect our machine, remote server. So for that, we need this remote server public IP, username, and the PEM key. That is our private key. So these all we need to keep in this local machine whenever we try to authenticate. And I told you there is a key belongs to this EC2 inside the EC2, that is the public key. This public key should match with the private actually. Okay. So whenever we're trying to access, we need to define the public IP here. Okay, in any of the software, we need to define the public IP, the username, and the PEM path also, or the PEM file location also, and it will starting to authenticate with our server. So this connection, if the machine is Linux, okay, that machine using a protocol that is called SSH, secure shell connection. Okay. And for the SSH, we need to open the port number 22 for this mission, specific mission. Otherwise, we can log into that remote server, okay. Via 22, we accessing the machine. Okay. So whenever we try to access, the connection goes through the port number 22 and hitting this machine. Then it will checking for the private key that is matching the public key. Everything seems fine. We got the mission console in one of the tool that we use here. Otherwise, the connection will be denied by this server, EC2 server. If the key is mismatched or any case, this will deny the connection. So this is the way we try to access a remote server, okay? So in this case, consider we can call this machine as a Bastion, okay? Consider this is a Bastion. And here we have one more machine that is our private machine, okay? Private. This is our database machine. So this is same in the VPC, okay? Different subnet only, different subnet. And the requirement is first, the requirement is we need to access this database machine, okay? For that, they will provide the Bastion, right? So we successfully log into the Bastion. So from the Bastion, we are doing the same thing like this. So from the Bastion, we need to access to the private machine. For that, what are the things that we need to keep in the the Bastion machine? That is the PEM key of this machine. That means the private key of this database machine. Okay, private key. And the public IP. In this case, this machine does not have public IP, so that we need to keep the private IP. That's fine actually. Private IP, because we are connecting this from the Bastion to database internally, okay, inside the VPC actually. So there is an internal connection there. So we can use private IP, that is that fine. And the username. So using these three things, we can access from the Bastion to database server. That is belongs to the private subnet. So for that, we need to first include the keys and everything in the Bastion. Okay. So just to go to the Bastion. I don't have any doubt. So this is our Bastion. Okay. I told you. Now our requirement is from Bastion to the that database server we need to access, okay, from here. For that, we need to create the key, okay. So first I am going to create a file. Inside the file, I will put that keys encrypted data, okay. So first I'm just to switch to root user. Then using a nano editor, I'm creating a key. So type key, that's fine. So I created a file, okay. And we need to put that data, okay, because here you can see we created a separate key for the database machine whenever I am launching. So I'm going to check that file and just open that file in a text editor or notepad and copy the content. That's all. So I copied and back to here, paste it here. So this is the content actually. This is the key content. See, so we need to save and exit. Control X, Y, hit enter. So you can see the file is here, key. The next thing is we need to provide necessary permission to the file key for the read permission, okay? Because this user needs to read the file when we are trying to SSH connection. So chmod, change the modification plus sorry, 400 is fine. That's fine. Now we are good to SSH to the remote server, okay? So SSH, we can use the SSH command, SSH dash I, then we need to mention the file name, okay? So this is a default way to access a remote server using SSH commands. Then we need to define the username with the IP. So the username for the EC2 machine, default username is EC2 user. At the rate, we need to define the IP. So in this case, we have a public IP, right? Sorry, private IP. So we need to copy the private IP. So this is IP, copy and paste it here. Hit enter. Type S. See, now we are in database machine. 10.0.1. See, it's a different network. And the machine belongs to Bastion 10.0.0.38. That's a public IP of the Bastion machine. And see the same IP. And for the database machine, it's a different network. And we successfully log into the machine as well. And for best practice, actually, we are do something just to go to the EC2 machine, okay, for the Bastion. And go to the security group of the Bastion. And this is a security group, okay. So, this is not the Bastion actually, this is a
Database.
database. And here you can see this is a security group that is related to the database machine, okay. So just to go to edit, and here you can see by default who can access, okay, this rule is actually for who can access the database machine via port number 22. And here we can see here, okay, under the source. So here you can see anyone can access 000./0 means anyone, okay, anyone then can access. But this is not the best practice because since our machine is private machine, okay. So close this and I'm going to copy this address, okay. This address means the Bastion's public IP, sorry, private IP. Copy and put it here. And mask is 32. That means only this IP will take, okay, on one IP. So in this case, what will happen? This machine, okay, that database machine only taking connection from the private IP of our Bastion machine. Rest of them it will reject. So we can say our private machine fully secured. Got it.
Is it private
Now,
IP of the Bastion or the public IP of the Bastion?
no, private. Only private IP. Because these all can access, okay? Because coming to the VPC, there is an internal communication there, right? This is the VPC, and we have two subnet here. This is a database machine, DB, and this is a Bastion, right? Bastion. So this machine only take connection from, like, connection means 22 SSH connection from this machine's private IP. Got it. For example, if another machine is here, okay, consider like that. So that machines can also access, right? If we didn't change this thing in the security group of the database. So in this case, there is no connection except from the Bastion.
Can you go to EC2 of Bastion once? Can you show?
Yeah, this is the Bastion. You mean the security group, right?
Not the security instance, EC2. Can you click on jump server? Select jump server. Oh, private IP. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So
What
this
did
is
you
a
see,
way.
Purnima, when he suggests, when he clicked that, what did you see? What did you look for?
I just the 10.0.0.38 is it a public or a private IP? I do see it as a private IP.
So the jump server was the private IP.
Jump server private IP is given to like this one database SSH port to allow only that private IP to connect to database server.
Okay, thank you.
Fine. So anyone have any doubt? Clear, right? All of you.
Can one machine have a public IP and a private IP? Yes.
In this case, right? Gem server have private IP. Yeah, in
And
real world scenario.
private
Yeah.
and public, both it has two IPs.
Right. For example, we are going to set up a machine, okay? In cloud or in on-premise, we need to define IP. First we need to define the private IP actually for internal communication. That's why I told you first we set up a LAN connection, right? So whenever we providing a private IP, private IP, that means we creating a LAN actually. Using in this case, we created a LAN using the VPC, subnet, and all of things. We creating a LAN connections. And for accessing outside the VPC, we need to define or we need to provide public IP. So when we selecting that enable public IP, the AWS automatically assign a public IP to us, to the corresponding machine actually. And whenever we turn off this machine, this IP will release actually. So this is a dynamic IP. So if we need a static IP, then we need to go to the elastic IP. Okay. I mean, there is a service for AWS. The AWS will provide stable IPs. So in this case, you can see we are now in the database server, but the database server is purely private. We can check the connection to the data, like DNS of Google. Okay. Ping, we can try to ping. See, no connection or no data pinging. go to the DNS server of Google. That means purely this machines belongs to private. And some cases we need to download some packages, or we need to patching the machines that belongs to private subnet. Okay. So in this case, this database, we need to download some database file, or we need to patching these machines. Okay. Some cases for that, we need to provide internet access to the machine, but we can't expose this machine to public as well. For that, we are using one service that is called NAT gateway. So NAT gateway have only one-way connection, that is outbound connection. So we can ensure that if you are assigning, or if you create the best NAT gateway for this machine, we can ensure that our machine is secure, because NAT only have outbound connection, no inbound connection. Got it.
So one question, how is it resolved? The one machine has a public IP and a private IP. How are those two different IPs reconciled? I mean, the publicly, it will be accessed by that IP, and then the private, because it's some private network. That's why it is called that. So as I understand, it has like one machine can have, if it's a jump server, it will have a public IP and a private IP. Right? The public IP can access that through the public IP, and the private
Yes.
IP is not known to anybody.
Private IP, come again, last.
The private IP is not known to anybody, right? That's why it's private.
Yes.
Only the network,
It's accessible.
private network has that IP address.
Right.
So how is that machine matched to that private IP?
Matching, for example,
If there's like some kind of a network address resolution, or route table or something that.
route table, not route table actually. For example, you have a laptop, right?
Yes.
So the laptop have a private IP. Did you check that? Private IP. Also, if you connect to internet connection, that machine have a public IP as well.
How do I find my private IP on my laptop if I go into command prompt?
Yeah, go to the command prompt and type ipconfig. Open command prompt will show you. ipconfig. See, this is my private IP. Got it.
How come the subnet mask is without, you usually put like the CIDR block with slash, and then how many bits are covered, but the subnet mask is expressed as IP address.
Yes, this is the network actually. This is the network and this is host.
I'm sorry, what could you repeat that? 255, 255, 255.
255 is a subnet mask actually. So this is the network part, and this is a host part. The host will change, network won't change. And here you can see the default gateway also. So this is a default gateway for this mission. So this default gateway is IP address of our router. Okay. So here actually pointing that public IP related things. For example, so this is my laptop. Okay. This is a laptop. And I have a 92 something private IP here, and you can see a gateway as well. For the same IP, there is a gateway that ending with a 0.1. That gateway IP for the router actually, the router I using. The router have internal connection, right? from the router to my machine also I can liberate the internet connection. So this is the gateway IP, and the gateway IP is connecting with the public IP configuration. Okay, that is belongs to the router configuration there. So the routers know the gateway. So that gateway we define here as well. That is by default, it will assigning or allocating to the machines that is joined to the router actually. So there is a service called a DHCP, Dynamic Host Control Protocol. So this protocol is assigning these all things, the public private IP to the machine, any machines connecting the Wi-Fi router, okay, that machines got private IP. That is delivering from the DHCP service that's running inside the router actually. So some IP ranges are there, okay, for that by default some IP ranges are there. The private IPs, okay. For example, 192.168.0.1. So 50, we can define 50 device only we can connect to the router. So the last IP would be 50, like that. And any of the machine joined to the router, they will assign one of the IP in between the 1 to 50, like 8 or like that. Got it?
So you have your laptop, then there is a router, which is from the internet company I bought, right? That has a dynamic host control protocol that will help resolve my private address and my public address, right?
Yes.
And then so does my laptop have a public internet address or never does?
Sorry?
Does the laptop that I'm using to join this meeting right now,
Yeah.
it doesn't have a public IP address because it's not a server. It's like it just goes through the router and gets some.
Right. Your machine have public IP. You can type like open the browser and type what is my public IP, so you can see the public IP. Got it. So for example, I will explain that thing. Okay. For example, okay, this is your laptop, right? So you have an internet connection, right? This is your laptop, and you have Wi-Fi, right there.
Yes.
So Wi-Fi is there, right? So the Wi-Fi and some internet provider connection you have, right? Some connections like any of the connection. Okay, so they will provide the internet connection to you, your modem. So first there is a modem there, or else some Wi-Fi's are integrated modem as well. Okay, and that modem, from the modem to Wi-Fi there is another connection. So the Wi-Fi provide a signals, right? Wi-Fi fidelity enter your house. So actually, the coming to the modem, okay, modem and the Wi-Fi part, there is a public IP there. Okay, so you have a laptop, right? So you need to connect to the Wi-Fi. So whenever you're connecting to the Wi-Fi DHCP service or allocate a private IP to your machine. Got it? Via private IP, you can connect to the Wi-Fi and the modem, so you can access internet as well. So this is one case. For example, you have a mobile connection and so in your home. So you need to
So is
connect
my
to the
router like my jump server?
no. Wi-Fi is not jump server actually. It's a part to connect to the modem or internet. That's all. So you connect one mobile also connected to the Wi-Fi. So the DHCP assign another IP for the machine. This machine, the private IP. Okay, all the IP provided by the DHCP is private IP. So this is private IP. This is also private IP. And this private IP, using the private IP, this machine talking to the Wi-Fi and leveraging the public IP for accessing internet. So in this case, you guys got only one public IP, okay? So you can use different machine also. If there is another laptop, we can connect to the Wi-Fi. So the Wi-Fi will assign another private IP. But all the talks, I mean, for the internet, you all guys using the same public IP. No public IP for each machine, okay? Only one private IP that there. But this Wi-Fi is now who is accessing the internet, or for example, there is a log there, okay? So the IP also that Wi-Fi or the modem can monitor. Got it?
So the DHCP plays a role in generating the private IP.
Right.
Was the private IP of the jump server generated by DHCP?
In which case, here there is no.
No, here there's no
Jump
jump
server.
server. This is like our house and Wi-Fi and modem.
Yes,
But
I will show you. I will show you the IP that is provided by the DHCP. Okay, so this is a private IP for the jump server 10.0.0.38.
yeah,
And for the public, sorry, the database machine, this is the IP 1.99. So the next thing is this machine, this database machine needs to talk with the internet. Okay, in that case, we need to configure NAT service that we can leverage the NAT service in AWS also. So tomorrow we can configure that. Okay, and we can so this database machine can access to internet and download the packages also. Is that fine, right? All of you. So tomorrow we can go to the NAT and configure the NAT as well. Anyone have a doubt? Or else we can wind up today's section.
I think this is. It would be good if you reviewed this class again. For me, I don't know about other students, but
Okay.
it's a little difficult to grasp all of these for me.
That we can discuss, okay? To sort out the
Okay, thanks.
confusion. Rest of them seems good, right? All of you.
Yeah.
Then we can wind up, right? Today's section. And we can meet tomorrow and continue the same, and we will configure one more service, that is NAT. The requirement is that machines belongs to private subnet sometimes needs to talk with the internet. Okay. For that, we need to configure NAT gateway. This is an interview-based question actually. Okay. So for example, the interviewer asking for how we will accessing a private network. Okay. Or we have a private network and we have some machines there. So how a external connection or how someone accessing that machine. So we can tell like we can configure a Bastion and provide the access like that. Then they will ask for how these private machines talk to internet. For example, we need to download some packages or installing our security patching. Okay, we need to update this patching activity or like that. So in that case, we are using NAT gateway. So NAT only allowed outbound connection. That's why we using NAT. There is no inbound connection via NAT. So that we can ensure that there is no internal connection accessing our private machine via NAT.
Okay, thanks.
All good, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Then we can wind up.
Sure. Have a good night. Thank you for the class. Good morning to Tawfiq, sir. Bye.
Good night all.